You are listening to the Maple Footy Podcast, the unofficial football podcast of the North. I'm your host, Sam Little. Find me on socials at SamLittle44 and the podcast at Maple Footy Pod. And now there's nothing left to say except for sit back, enjoy, and welcome to the show.
Hello, yes, and welcome back to the Maple Footy Podcast. And today we have a great guest joining us with quite the CV. He's been capped by Canada at the international level, spent a few years in Scotland with Stenhousemeyer, Ross County, and Motherwell. Recently, he won the CPL Shield with Forge and is now one of Cavalry's most newest signings and even scored a beauty on his debut. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome Harry Paton onto the podcast. So, Harry, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me and making this happen. Appreciate
Thank
having me.
Thank you. Anytime. And yeah, I want to start this one off how I start off a lot of these of really kind of what made you fall in love with soccer, what made you want to pursue it and make you want to play and everything here in Canada.
Yeah, so it's a funny story. Going way back when I was younger, my mom had me, the typical Canadian in skating.
Yeah.
She wasn't a big fan of the cold rinks, so she threw me into summer sports straight away and just started playing. I was really involved in tennis, soccer,
Oh,
and then
nice.
just yeah, really enjoyed the soccer part and just played as much as I could, house
Yeah.
league and futsal and rep as well. So just anything I could play, I was always out training and I was fortunate to have my brother as well
Yeah.
growing up, 2 years age difference.
Mhm.
So any chance we got, we'd be out to the field, just hitting free kicks or training. So it was a good part growing up, big part of my life.
No, that's awesome. And then, of course, because you also played tennis and whatnot, was there a moment where you really were like, okay, it's got to be soccer. I need to pursue this as a career?
I think I always knew.
Yeah.
I think I always knew. My brother was a little bit more of a decision. He was really big and a great player in tennis,
Yeah.
and we both decided, soccer was the way to go. I always had that aspiration to make it to the highest level, but I personally feel like if I was doing maybe anything, I would give it 100%. And I think just choosing soccer was the best decision for me, and it's just a game that I've loved, and
Yeah.
just yeah, getting to do it as a job was something that was an aspiration for me, and still being able to play and being back here in Canada
Yeah.
playing the game is a really big dream of mine. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And then, of course, as a player, I find that you're very high energy, great on the ball, an engine in the midfield. Was that something that kind of naturally came to you, or is that just like years and years of just like grifting and grinding away at that?
I would say there was a lot of work behind the scenes for sure.
Mhm.
Just getting a lot of like gym is important,
Mhm.
and also just a lot of work on and off the field. Looking after myself is a big thing. But yeah, I think a big part of my game is high energy, box to box midfield, and I think like just growing up, I was always quite an athletic kid. I was always being the top of the beep test and the stuff like that. So I was quite fortunate to be able to do that. But yeah, it was a lot of hard work as well involved in that too.
That's awesome. Shout out the beep test, by the way. I have not thought
Oh,
about that in
oh no,
absolute
shut
years.
up. It's the worst fear coming into training, and all you hear is the beep beep.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got to sprint down. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man. Nightmare. Was midfield always kind of the position that even like coming up and like when you were young, was that always the position where you found yourself, or was it, maybe you started as a defender or striker or whatnot, but was it always midfield?
Starting off my like youth, like this was when I was a lot younger, like 10,
Mhm.
11, 12. I was kind of moving around. I would be at the back, and then I would be in the middle. So I was kind of versatile around, and I just leaned more towards the midfield, just being kind of the engine, being all around the field. It was really a big
Yeah.
thing for me, and getting joining the attacks and also coming back and defending. So
Yeah.
I just like to be kind of doing everything, and
Yeah.
and I enjoyed the midfield the most. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Get the best of like everything, I guess, right?
hmm
Yeah. And then of course something that was really cool was you got the opportunity at such a young age to go overseas and play with Fulham. Can you kind of speak about how that opportunity kind of came to be?
Yeah, I was really, really fortunate. My coach in Kitchener knew was really close with an agency, and it wasn't a case where I was, kind of chosen. I was just quite fortunate. I was, part of the Ontario program
Mhm.
and growing up, and I was lucky to have a dual citizenship as well.
Oh, nice, nice.
And they gave me the opportunity to go over to England to, have a trial at a couple of clubs. I started off at Queens Park Rangers
Nice.
for for a couple months, and they really liked me. And then it went well there, and then we trialed at Brentford, went well again, and then we
Yeah.
went to Fulham, and they all offered kind of a similar, 2-year scholarship.
Yeah.
At the time, Fulham seemed like the best option, and I really enjoyed my kind of couple weeks there. So I just made the decision to go there, and 15, turning 16, just moved myself out there. A lot of people think it was, my family coming over with, but it
Yeah.
was just me, 16, straight into like billet family, or they call it digs over there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, straight into Fulham, and yeah, I was training a lot. I was fortunate to get into, be that guy that was, if they needed a first team player, I would be, into training with them, which was amazing, and really enjoyed my time and learned a lot through those 2 years I was there.
No, that's awesome. And how do those, because you mentioned you were 15, 16, how do those conversations go when you're so young about, maybe with your family or with your loved ones and everything of, packing up your life essentially and heading overseas to pursue this dream?
Me back then, I didn't think really anything of it. I was just
Yeah.
excited to go.
Yeah.
Now that I've kind of grown up a little bit, I kind of takes me back, and I'm thinking, wow, my parents really made like huge sacrifices for me to go over there and trusting me and taking a bit of a risk because I'm moving to a new country on my own at
Yeah.
that young age, and I think I really take a lot of positives from that, just independence wise, not just the football side, but like
Yeah.
living on my own. And yeah, a lot of sacrifices on my end and for my family. And yeah, really, really grateful that they allowed me to go and do that essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't change it for
No,
sure.
that's awesome. Yeah, because when I was researching, I was like, holy cow, like that is insane. But that's so cool. And it all obviously worked out too. And what I was really curious about too, about heading over to England and whatnot, is they have such a different footballing culture, you could say. What was it like adapting to that culture coming from Canada, where it's not really the biggest sport here, going to England, where it's like they live, breathe, and die by it?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I grew up again playing lots of sports, tennis, and I'd be out on the road playing the row hockey with the neighbor kids, and obviously soccer would be my sport I play at the end of the day with
Yeah.
my team. And when you go there, it's just like everywhere. Like there's kids walking around the neighborhood and they're just kicking a ball, dribbling around the streets, and it's just crazy the passion. Like going to the games, for example, watching Fulham play at home, and it's just like the
Yeah.
atmosphere you get just at the stadium alone is incredible.
Yeah.
So it's another level over there, and I think we're making steps here to bring it up to the standard. And with the World Cup this year, I think it'll be great for the country.
Yeah, absolutely. I really hope that Canada can really hop on the World Cup hype train to help build it
Mhm.
here as well.
Yeah.
And of course, you stayed in Europe after leaving Fulham, going to Scotland. Why was it important to go to Stenhousemuir from Fulham to grab yourself more experience in Europe? And then there was a couple loan spells as well throughout. Why was it so important for your experience and development to have stayed in Europe for that time?
Yeah, after Fulham, I made my way up. I actually went to Hearts FC,
Mhm.
Heart and Midlothian in Edinburgh for 2 years. I was still quite young there. I was 18 when I signed.
Yeah.
Was really pushing to get into first team football there. Made the squad a couple times. Never made my full debut, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But it was always around the first team, trying to really squeeze in and get my debut.
Yeah.
There was an opportunity that came to get some first team football with Stenhousemuir. But a bit of a step down, but I just took it with 100% effort and went there, scored a lot of goals,
Yeah.
won a lot of awards there, like player of the season. I was in the team of the year. Really enjoyed my football there. I was playing every week,
Yeah.
um, and eventually at the end of it got me moved up to Ross County off of it, and yeah, just kept playing. That was the
Yeah.
main thing, get games under my belt. That was the main goal.
Yeah. How kind of important is it for you as like a player when you are in around those when you're with the U20s of a Hearts and you're in around the first team? How important is it to really soak up those experiences and just kind of take in everything at those times.
I think it's really important being around the first team, seeing how some of the professionals train and live. I'm always one to do everything at like my best.
Yeah.
Like kind of no days off, working extra hard in training and being able to see that environment where there's, really big players in Scotland doing that on a day in, day out and being able to ask questions, off of the players. I think that's important for, the youth growing
100.
up. If they're in those, don't be afraid to like ask, the players like, I'm a midfielder. I got a game coming up this weekend and you're in this situation, what are some things I should do? And usually the older guys are wanting that and they're keen on giving you that advice. So it was really nice to have those big players, like Don Cowie, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
He was one that would really help me. And yeah, it was really beneficial off of that.
No, that's awesome. When you played at Ross County, it is of course home to one of the smallest stadiums in the Scottish Premiership, the Victoria Stadium Park, sorry. What's it like getting to play in such an intimate, passionate atmosphere like that?
Yeah, it was different. Coming from Hearts, this I would say one of the best stadiums in Scotland. The way the
Yeah.
stands are, you're really close to the fans, and the atmosphere is really good there. Going to Ross County at the time, we did have a good crowd. We were competitive in the league.
Yeah.
We were getting some good crowds out, and yeah, it was a smaller town, but it's a really lovely stadium. Really nice kind of way of life up there in Inverness, Dingwall.
Mhm.
Really enjoyed my time there, and yeah, we had some really great games, and it was always great to see. It was a bit of a long trip, the longest I guess you could say in Scotland. It's
Yeah.
only 3 hours, so coming to CPL doesn't seem that long now.
No.
But yeah, it was amazing because you would see 5,000 fans from Celtic be coming up 3 hours just to watch the game, and it was like
Yeah.
they would sometimes get more than the home crowd, and just seeing like the Celtic Rangers fans coming up, and it was like insane. Honestly, you couldn't even hear yourself on the field. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And funny you mentioned Celtic because one of my other questions was how cool is it to play in I mean, Celtic has such a great stadium. How cool is it to play in front of Celtic Park and in those atmospheres? Like, what is that like to be just surrounded by that much noise and passion and just unadulterated fandom?
It's pretty insane. I always say this like when you're out in the stadium and the Celtic or Rangers fans are going crazy. It's
Mhm.
you're standing next to your teammate and you can't hear them. You literally have to like yell. It's that loud.
Yeah.
And as much as it is would be like an amazing feeling for like being a Celtic player, being out there as opposition, it's still pretty amazing just to have a little setback and just look and see all the fans.
Yeah.
Um, it's pretty amazing. And walking out, it gives you kind of goosebumps and wants you to makes you want to really play well and
Yeah.
show well. So yeah, a really cool experience and something I always remember. And my brother and I were fortunate enough to actually play together
That's so
for
sick,
Ross
man.
County in Celtic
Yeah.
Park, and we have some video of us, in the midfield together, and that's something we'll always remember.
No, that's
So
awesome. And like as a kid growing up in Canada, could you have ever imagined like playing with your brother at Celtic Park in the midfield? Like that's got to be such like a surreal experience, no?
100%, it's something we I will never forget.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was crazy. We didn't think anything of it at the time, and
Yeah.
then after we were kind of looking at each other, we're like, we just did that. That was really cool. We ended up losing the game. We got pretty annihilated by Celtic, but it was
Yeah.
still amazing experience.
No, it's awesome. And then of course, you did make 100 appearances, 106 appearances for Ross County. Can you kind of talk about the pride of going over to Scotland as a Canadian midfielder? We don't have many Canadian guys that go to the Scottish Premiership and make 100 appearances for a club. Can you kind of talk about the pride in making those 100 appearances?
I was yeah really wanted to play lots of first team football. I was really fortunate to go to Ross County and get those over 100 appearances for the club, and it was a great opportunity for me. Playing all those games got me a lot of experience. Learned a lot in those times. All those games weren't like 10 out of 10 games, but I was able to learn from them.
Yeah.
Playing all those games really helped as well through Canada as well. Again, those minutes helped me get into the squad.
Yeah.
Got a couple call ups with the Gold Cup, and then eventually going down the road and when I was at Motherwell to go to Japan with the team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really grateful for that, and yeah, learned a lot of good qualities. Different game, every league you go to, it's going to be different. Scotland's very high intensity,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I had to really change my gameplay to deal with that. But yeah, I learned a lot, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
No, that's awesome. And you mentioned about going to Motherwell and grabbing your first cap for Canada. I did want to talk a little bit about Motherwell and then of course the cap for Canada. But why was Motherwell such a good fit for you? Because of course you did end up having some success at the international level, getting that call up, getting the cap. So what made Motherwell just such a good fit for you at that time?
At the time, yeah, I would say Motherwell was a really big club in Scotland.
Yeah.
Got the call that they were interested in bringing me in, and I was 100% for it. I knew the league really well, really suited my playing style, high energy, athletic kind of midfielder, and just yeah, they spoke to me, and I was really keen on joining them, and had a really good 2 seasons there, and enjoyed my time for sure.
That's awesome. And then I do want to talk about your first cap with Canada, because I mean, that's pretty sick. And you were, of course, training with guys like Alfonso Davies, Alistair Johnston, Junior Hoylett, and many others. Can you kind of talk about being in a camp with players of that, stature and those accolades that they bring to a camp like that?
Yeah, coming in, it's amazing to see the talent that Canada has.
Hmm.
And it's obviously watching them, growing up and seeing how well they're doing playing Champions League football is pretty insane.
Yeah.
And great to see obviously on the field how well they can perform. But also it's nice to see kind of them off the field and dealing with them on a personal level. It's amazing to see, how humble these guys are and how welcoming they were to me coming in and a new player coming in and they're very welcoming and very humble and just really hungry to do the best for their country.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great experience to meet them and keep in touch because a couple of times with Junior Hoylett, seeing him after the game and when
Yeah.
he was his time at Hibs, it's just great to see them doing so well and yeah, really
Yeah,
good.
no, that's awesome. And what was it like getting that first call up for the national team of like, whether it's a legit call or text, however they relay the news to you, what was that moment like of reading that and going like, oh my gosh, like that's gotta be just such a huge moment for yourself.
Yeah, it was a huge moment for me. That's the dream is to play for your country at whatever level, and I was really fortunate to get that chance and make my debut with Canada away to Japan, which was I think really cool experience.
Yeah, yeah,
Going over to Japan to play Japan is a really high level team. Was able to get some good minutes coming
yeah,
on. Really enjoyed my game. Felt I showed well and. Um, yeah, it was just surreal experience for myself, proud moment for me and my family. And yeah, it's something I'll always remember. And
yeah.
yeah, very grateful for that.
No, it's awesome. And what was it like getting to step onto that pitch and now you can call yourself like a Canadian international? And yeah, I'm just so curious of like what those feelings of stepping onto the pitch for the first time in Japan for the national team for with the badge on. How's that like? Like what's that feeling when you step on?
It's a huge honor. I would say I just felt good coming on. I didn't feel like nervous or anxious. I was just kind of like in the zone. I was really kind of proud of myself, all the hard work I've done over like my lifetime,
Yeah.
being able to just go out and enjoy the game and play for my country. So I was just going with that mindset, just go out, enjoy it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really tough game. Japan was a really strong side,
Yeah. Yeah.
really strong side. And I was able to get, I think, maybe 20, 25 minutes and just put my all out there and did my best. And yeah,
Yeah,
really
that's
enjoyed it.
that's awesome. And do you have that jersey like framed anywhere or like because I'd have that like framed everywhere. Everybody I know would see that jersey like all the time.
Yeah, I have it. I think I gave my mom one of my jerseys. That's hers to deal with, and then the other one's hung up in my room somewhere. So yeah,
That's
proud moment. It's a really cool jersey. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And then something I like to do on here is just a couple fun questions just to really break up the interview for you. So a couple fun ones here. When I talked to your brother, he stated he'd never had McDonald's or even a fizzy drink. Is that also the case for you as well?
I would say yeah. We're never had McDonald's. Like yeah, I've had some fizzy drinks
Mhm.
before, obviously, but I just feel like for us growing up, we never really went there. Like maybe as
Yeah.
a family, just never really went there, and we never got like accustomed to it.
Yeah.
But that's a funny one. Yeah, it's just weird. I never really thought about it. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never been to McDonald's, I guess. Like
That's awesome. And then
that's
of
my
course,
one.
that's funny. And then you've played in some unreal stadiums. Of course, we kind of talked about Celtic and Japan. Is there one that like really stands out to you throughout your playing career?
Yeah, I would say probably my favorite stadium that I've played in was the Ibrox Stadium, Rangers' stadium.
Oh, nice.
The atmosphere in there is insane, and I don't know, whatever reason, whenever I've played there, I've had a really good game.
Yeah.
Not that we've won games, but on a personal level, I've always felt like I've played well there.
Yeah.
So it was always one to look forward to, and it's cool. It's not really the change rooms aren't so like modern. It's very historic and like not like old and outdated, but it's just you could sense that there's a lot of like kind of heritage in there. So it's really cool to see. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then the final of the little fun ones here. If you could choose a midfield three in world football to play with, excluding any teammates of yours, who would you choose?
That's a good question. I'm very biased with my decisions here. I would say
Be
number
biased.
one, number one to play alongside me.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say I would play a three. I would have Lampard on the right of me. I'll be on the
Okay.
left,
Yeah.
and then I'd want a little bit. He might not like it, but I'd want Hazard in the 10 on the half turn. Those are my
That's
two. Those are my two favorite players, so I have to have them in there for sure.
same here. I was a Chelsea. I am a Chelsea fan, so those two are like my two
Yeah,
favorites.
huge.
So
Yeah.
those are great shouts right there. Um, Coming back into some more serious ones now. Having been away for a little bit from Canada in Scotland, how was the soccer landscape changed when you came back to Canada at the end of 2025?
Yeah, I would say the CPL has grown substantially. From when I remember it was, being opened to kind of where it is now. You can see coming into Forge, they're getting good numbers out watching the games.
Yeah,
And I think with the way the league went last year and how the World Cup is going to be held in Canada this year, I think it's a really big, strong year for Canada soccer. And yeah, really excited and looking forward to be a part of it at
yeah.
Calvary this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, of course, want to talk about how you came to the CPL and everything. Can you kind of talk about how the opportunity came to come to the CPL and, yeah, just what was so, I guess, exciting about coming to the CPL, joining these projects and everything?
Definitely, yeah. I was joining and Ben's at Forge just now.
Yeah,
And I was fortunate to, get in there to train. I requested to see if I could come in and, keep my fitness levels. I was in between teams at the time. Yeah, they were really grateful. I was really grateful for them to bring me in. They allowed me to train with the team and during a really big period of the season as well, near the
yeah,
tail end of the season. And yeah, I was able to come in, train, keep my fitness up, be a part of the team. And they actually offered something till the end of the season, and at the time it just made sense to sign till the end and help them whatever way I could have,
yeah,
win the season or win the cup. So really enjoyed my I think it was a couple months there
yeah,
being able to play with Ben again, which was really cool, and we got
yeah.
to commute in together and spend a lot of time with each other. And then yeah, I was really fortunate to speak to Tommy as well. I've worked with him before.
Yeah.
He proposed something for myself at Cavs, and it just made sense for me to come here for the next 2 seasons. And yeah, really enjoyed my start so far and looking forward to the season.
That's awesome. And I'm not sure how much you can say about this, but I've always wondered what the player's perspective of a transfer kind of is, whether it's, talking to teams, agents, and whatnot. How is it as a player having to kind of I guess, kind of forge your path through these transfers that happen?
Yeah, football's pretty crazy. If I'm honest, there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes that people don't maybe realize or see. It can be a really stressful time for players not knowing where their future is going to be. I would say like kind of maturing up now and I have a fiance. It's tough on them as well
Yeah.
because they're structured in their jobs and who knows, you're moving to Belgium or you're moving to Calgary,
Yeah.
for 2 years. So it does have a strain, not just on the player, but people around them too. So you have to give a shout out to, all the partners out there that are sticking with their man going to new
Yeah.
countries and new teams.
Yeah.
So apart from that, it can be pretty stressful, but in the end, sometimes it can be really, beneficial and exciting times. So for me, I was happy. It was really stress free. Spoke to Tommy and we got things done really quick and yeah,
Yeah.
really happy.
That's awesome. And then I do want to talk a little bit about your Cavalry debut that just happened over this weekend as of recording. Can you talk about, quite the first impression, goal, man of the match, and team of the week? I'm not sure it gets much better than that. Kind of how, why has it worked so well hitting the ground running right off the bat with Cavalry here?
Yeah, I just approached this year with maybe like a different mindset. I feel like just want to approach and enjoy my football and not put too much pressure on myself
Mm,
and just enjoy the game and enjoy and do the things I like doing during the game.
yeah.
And I have to say credit to the staff for being so helpful and yeah, really making me feel welcome and helping me out, get used to their system because again, it's something new for me to learn and there's a
Yeah.
lot more learning I need to do. I would say, it wasn't a perfect game as a personal level for me. There's some still things I need to, work on and as a team as well, I feel like I can probably attest to the team saying that we still have another level to get to. And again, it's early in the season, so hopefully we can work out those little not faults, those little things we need to work on. And yeah, to get the goal is something I want to work on the goal contribution. So being able
Yeah.
to start off the season with the goal is huge. The man of the match, I guess, was really nice to get, and I'm really not kind of trying to get the man of the match. I was just trying to,
Yeah.
have a good game for the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, really, really happy to receive that. And I think the motivation for me on that game was kind of funny because Ben just scored
Yeah.
the day
Yeah.
before, and I didn't want him to have the bragging rights through the week saying, "Oh, I scored,"
Yeah.
So I had to. It was in the back of my head. I was like, if I get a chance, I really need to put it away. And yeah, I was fortunate to get that goal. And yeah, really enjoyed the game.
That's awesome. And in a couple weeks, you actually will be playing your brother,
Mhm.
Cavalry Forge in Hamilton. Are you kind of the type that like will chirp each other before the game to get the bragging rights and whatnot? Or is it kind of just like, business and like, we'll talk about it after kind of thing?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, just focus business on, yeah, I would say that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Uh, but I know for me, I know like obviously I want Cavs to win that game,
Yeah.
but I want him to have like a really good game. I'm
Yeah.
one of those where I don't want him to like, be play bad and me to be like kind of rubbing it in his face. I want
Yeah.
him to have like a really good game, me have a really good game, compete and fight for balls and take each other on
Yeah.
and then see who gets the best of it. But yeah, hopefully we can get the better of them that day.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool that you guys get to play together and now play against each other. So
Mhm.
is it going to be like really cool, especially for, family and whatnot? I assume that family friends will come out to those games, especially. Like,
Yeah,
is it really cool to get to have so many people in the stand supporting both of you during those moments?
yeah, it's really nice. Previously, family would come out when I was in Scotland to maybe a couple games a season, because they had to fly out and stay down, so they do little trips. Now we'll be able to have, a lot more people out to the games. I'm curious to see what jerseys they wear for the game. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they do that half and half. We'll
Yeah,
see.
split jersey.
Split jersey. So we'll see. But yeah, really looking forward to that game. That'll be cool.
That'd be really cool. And I have a couple more for you.
Yeah,
Um,
good.
Of course. What are some goals for yourself personally heading into this season with Cavalry?
I think I mentioned a little bit before. I feel the goal contributions.
Yeah.
A lot of my work previously in years, I feel it goes a little bit behind the scenes, a bit more of an engine in the middle, with ball recoveries, starting the attacks. Now I want to really focus on getting into good areas and getting those goal contributions and finishing those chances if I'm in the final third. So that's something I want to work on, and I know the staff's been great with me to help improve that.
Yeah.
So looking forward to see what I can do this year.
That's awesome. And what kind of excites you most about getting to work in an environment like Calvary? Of course, one of the most successful teams in the CPL, Tommy Wilden Jr., one of the best coaches in the CPL. What kind of excites you about getting to be in that atmosphere around quality staff, players, fans, just everything?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I would say speaking and working with Tommy before, I know that he's really a good fit for my kind of mentality and playing style. He spoke to me on kind of his beliefs in the game and how he wants the team to work this year, and it just kind of just clicked for me. It just
Yeah.
really fitted my style, and coming in working with Tommy and Jay, his brother, and the rest, Ledgerwood and all the staff. I could
Yeah. Yeah.
go on. They really do things right and things that I'm used to with coming from the UK, coming here. So it was a really easy transition for me, and yeah, just really enjoyed their passion for the game. You can see like things go. People don't see it, and the fans and they don't see it, but like I'm coming into training and early. Like I like to be kind of one of the first ones there, and
Yeah.
the coaches are already there doing video, and they're
Oh, wow.
staying late
Yeah.
working with like the youngsters, and they just seem to really love what they do, and that's something that I really want to be a part of. And it's a great thing to see how much they're not just involved with the club, but also the big picture of the community too.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's really nice to see, and yeah, very strong club for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's awesome. And that's really cool that you mentioned that about them kind of staying late to work with the youngsters and whatnot. Kind of what does that kind of show you about the level of, I guess, passion and the level of hard work that's going into Cavalry in this season when, they're staying late, doing video, coming in early, taking the time to really help develop these young players and help everybody in a sense and build this community in that club.
I think it's really important. I'm always a big believer in promoting kind of the youth players
Mhm.
to make the steps into the first team, because I was there. I was a youngster, maybe not coming through the academies,
Yeah.
but I was a youngster trying to make my way into the game. And for me, coming in with quite a lot of games under my belt and experience, I'm one to help the youth as well.
Yeah.
I'm really big on coaching. I've got my UEFA B license
Oh, it's
and
awesome.
doing a lot of coaching on the side too, something I want to get into.
Yeah.
Um, just to stay in the game after my career.
Yeah.
So being able to do that as well and help some of the players is a big aspect for me too. And it's just really important if we can promote some of the really talented players that I've already seen that have come in and joined in training and potentially get some minutes this season. It's really beneficial for the club too, for
Yeah.
them to grow and then potentially move on and into bigger things.
That's awesome. And segueing into that, if there is a piece of advice that you could give a young player, maybe someone who's just starting out or wants to pursue the game, what would a piece of advice you would give to a young player kind of wanting to pursue this path?
Yeah, I would say two things. I would say first is like hard work. A lot of people I feel growing up go to their team trainings and they think that might be enough, but it's not. You need to go out. Even if you have team training, you need to come an hour earlier, an hour after, and
Yeah.
the days off, you got to go out and just practice whatever it is, shoot and finish and dribble, and you got to be out 24/7 working on yourself. If you really want that dream to come true, you need to put in those hours. And also for me, I would feel like the biggest thing is, when mistakes do happen in games, like everyone has bad days, bad games, not to kind of dwell on it, just
Yeah.
think more in the present where you can't go back and fix it. Just think on the next play. So that's
Yeah.
another thing that helped me to kind of grow as a player.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one final question for you. I like to end these off with this type of question.
Yeah.
What do you want the Cavalry faithful to know about you heading into this season? Whether it's you'll fight for the badge or your play style, how much you're willing to give, just something along those lines. What you want the Cavalry faithful to know about you?
That's a good one to end on. I say for the Cavalry faithful, I'm just gonna give it 110%. I'm gonna fight for the team. Every second every chance I get, every second on the field, I'm gonna really fight and give my all for the club. It's almost like going to battle for the team,
Yeah.
and just for them to be there through the tough times and through the good times. Just stick with us the whole season, and I know myself and the rest of the staff, the rest of the team are going to give it everything to lift those trophies at the end of the year.
Awesome. Harry, I just want to say thank you so much for doing this today. I truly appreciate your time. You're genuinely a top player, and I
Thanks.
truly think you're going to be one to watch throughout this season for Cavalry, and I wish you nothing but the best for the season ahead.
Great. Yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed that. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
That does wrap up our interview with Cavalry's Harry Paton. Absolutely really cool to get him on, especially before him and his brother play. So really good way to prep for that match. Check out our Ben Payton interview as well. Cheap plug there. But yeah, really liked that one. I hope that you did as well. Harry has obviously had done a lot in the game, representing his country, playing in Scotland for a good number of years, over 100 appearances for Ross County. So really cool to get him on now. Currently, really doing well with Cavalry, looking like a player to watch this season. So it's going to be really exciting to see what him and Cavalry can do for the remainder of this season. We, of course, wish them nothing but the best. And, of course, if you did like this interview, I would highly recommend checking out our other ones. Here on YouTube, we have a playlist dedicated to all of our Maple Footy interviews. So definitely go ahead and check those out. Outside of that, we have another interview dropping this time next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Outside of that, weekly recap will be up on Tuesday. So really looking forward for that and what all the Canadian boys have done over the last week. And yeah, outside of that, thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, cheers, everyone.
And that was your Maple Footy podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Check my socials for any and all future updates. Remember to support Canadian football, be kind, and until next time, live, laugh, little.